Hey, Kate, how many times has a client come to you and said that they wanted to run a marathon and lose weight?
Too many times for me to count, and every time it happens, my heart drops in my stomach a little bit because everyone's always really excited.
Amped to run that marathon and lose weight at the same time.
Yeah.
So why is this a problem? Like, why do you get sad when someone says this? Because you would think, like, someone wants to run a marathon, they're really motivated, they're excited, they're going to be burning lots of calories running.
Because it rarely works right. And it also, at least the way that I do it, and I'm guessing you do it too, it almost contradicts with the original recommendations that we are applying for weight loss. When the body is burning so much energy to run a marathon, there are just so many things that can happen that make the weight loss process harder, and it's very counterintuitive. And it can be kind of a hard concept to explain, especially if it's a new person that I've only seen a handful of times. And they just like hit the ground running. They feel so good. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel great. I love eating. I want a challenge. I'm going to sign up for this Disney half marathon or full marathon in 4 months. Let's do it.
I see them as complete opposite goals, and you have to choose. You got to choose whether you want to run a marathon. What's your primary goal? Is it this big goal of running 26 miles or running 13 miles, or is it weight loss? Because most of the time they cannot happen concurrently, because when you're trying to run 26 miles, your goal is to fuel your body for those 26 miles. And the best thing to fuel your body for those 26 miles is straight up sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing for weight loss is not straight up sugar.
It's less total food for weight loss. Running requires more food, specifically from sugar, and it drives your appetite up so much.
Yep.
I mean, so does any kind of like heavy training protocol. So even if people are doing CrossFit 4 or 5 times a week, it can have that same effect where you're just chronically hungry. The difference is with a lot of weight training, people are building muscle tissue, so their body composition may change more favorably.
Your metabolism is going up. Running's not increasing your metabolism at all. It's just burning calories in the moment. I can remember when I ran my marathon, I kept trail mix in my pockets all the time because that's how hungry I was constantly.
Mm-hmm. You just need to munch.
Yeah.
So for the science nerds out there, here's what happens. So when you wake up and let's say you're training in the morning, because that's what a lot of marathon runners do. They wake up and they get out and they go run. Typically they haven't eaten since the night before. Maybe it's been 8 hours, maybe it's been 12 hours. And your energy levels, what we call your glycogen stores, which is just stored energy in your muscle and your liver, they're not overflowing and full of energy. So you need to put that energy in. So before you go on one of your long runs, ones where you're working up to that marathon level or half marathon level even, you got to put fuel in the tank. And your body wants ready to use quick fuel. So it can burn through it really quickly because pretty soon after a few miles or if you're going by time, maybe 45, 60 minutes, you need to put more sugar, like you said, straight up sugar in the tank. So you wake up, you put glucose or carbs in the body to fill up that glycogen store. This is not the time to eat boiled eggs or anything that's strictly protein and fat because that doesn't give your body energy to refill those glycogen stores and work. And then you just keep refueling and refueling and refueling. So when you were doing your marathon, like what kind of sports supplements were you eating?
I was doing a lot of those chews and then just regular straight up jelly beans. So I wasn't even buying like the Gatorade jelly beans. I was just doing the straight up jelly beans because your body just needs sugar to run off of, and that's the quickest thing for it to break down. So even when you're in a marathon and they're handing you like orange slices, like, yeah, you're getting some fuel from that, but really the best thing is the sugar that's going straight to your veins is going to keep you going because you're depleting those glycogen stores within 60 to 90 minutes, and you need more fuel to keep that going.
And I think people overestimate how many calories they burn when they're running as
For
well,
sure.
because at the end of it, you burn a lot of calories. But let's say that you ran 2 miles and then you have 15 grams of carbs. You probably burn, on average, 200 calories. Everyone's going to be different, so don't take that number to heart. And then if you have one serving of those ready-to-eat jelly beans or those waffles that are just straight-up glucose, you just ate back those calories. And that's the point. That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to burst these people's bubbles, especially like living in Orlando. The Disney marathon culture is such a big culture here. But when I've been able to get people to shift to say, like, okay, let's focus on something else, a different style, a different type of working out rather than just pounding the pavement mile after mile after mile, we always get better results in terms of wanting to change their body composition if that's a top goal.
In my book, in the last chapter, I talk about one of my clients who was like a huge Disney marathon person and how she was just under fueling all of the time. So she would not eat any kind of carbohydrate because she was pursuing weight loss. So she had these like competing ideas in her head. And just to make it known, you don't have to eat low carb, no carb to lose weight. But that was the approach she'd always been taught. So she was trying to run these marathons, eating a lot of protein bars, protein supplements. And then later in the afternoon, after hours had gone by after her training, she was depleted and just eating everything in sight. And that's a common pitfall too, even for people who are eating carbs while training. If they don't eat enough and they don't fuel properly because they're trying to lose weight, the body will check in later and be like, hey dude, you just ran more than any human should run on the average day or week. We're going to send you signals to go consume large amounts of food.
Yeah.
And people here typically aren't going to crave like carrots and hummus and a grilled chicken salad. What do they want? Sugar, carbs,
Bagels.
Yeah. Bagels.
The other thing too is most of the clients that we see are in that era of life where they've got a lot going on. They're either like performing very well at their career, maybe they have a family at home, and putting in time to train for a marathon, it's a lot of time. And so if you're going to spend all of this time training for something, I would much rather you spend that time on something that's going to get you the most bang for your buck, and running isn't it. I mean, running can be part of it, but when you're spending all that time running, you don't have a lot of other time for the cross training, for the yoga, for the elongation of the muscles, for the mobility aspect of it. So like from a overall wellness standpoint of like, is this going to make you the most well? That's also probably not the best goal.
Exactly, which nobody likes to hear because the people who love running, like they love running.
Great, yeah, I'm so happy for you, but I also hope you don't have this goal at the same time.
The people I've seen who really get, let's just say like aesthetic goals met from long distance running are either people who are really young, like I'm talking like college age, early 20s, and have never pursued weight loss before. So they're still young, they have a high metabolism, their body hasn't like learned any tricks from dieting, and they maybe still have a high metabolism, whether we've gotten it tested or not. And they don't really change much about how they eat, they just start running more and they lose weight. And I see that a lot where somebody ran a marathon or ran when they were younger, had their dream body or whatever, and now they're like 20 years older with the life that you just described, and they're like, running worked for me 2 decades ago.
Right.
And it's like, it's probably not going to work the same just because, well, first of all, any kind of weight loss approach we do when we're really young typically doesn't translate to midlife as easily. Sometimes it can, but usually not.
Yeah, because your body evolves.
Yeah.
It's a machine for that. There's a reason why we're alive, and it's because your body evolves to these different things that you do, and it figures out how to not lose weight again. So yeah, usually the weight, whether it was Weight Watchers or whether it was running that worked 20 years ago, is probably not going to work for you again.
Would you say that a male or female client would have different outcomes? Like, do you think if you had, let's say you had an obese male come in, 40 years old, starts running, never had ran in his life before, versus a 40-year-old female who maybe is just slightly overweight and wants to drop 20 pounds running?
The male is going to get better results for sure, especially if he's not in any kind of exercise routine. Like a male body with testosterone is going to respond better to that, and he's going to lose fat. He's not necessarily going to gain muscle.
No, he won't.
But I think that he'll lose fat compared to a 40-year-old woman or in her 40s or close to menopause, especially. Like her body is going to probably hold on to the fat.
So I would say to that 40-year-old woman is if you love running, we have to think about that as more of like the cherry on top, but you can't, in weight loss mode, I don't want people to push it too far. We want to look at weight training to change body composition. You're still going to burn calories while you weight train, but if you're doing it in an appropriate way, we find like that balance for you, you're not going to feel that spike in hunger to the same degree as long distance running. And you also don't need Gatorades and jelly beans while you're lifting weights. You can get in there for 30, 45 minutes, take a rest day. And then on those rest days, if you want to do like a jog, maybe 2 miles, 3 miles, low, like don't try to hit any PRs. Don't do any kind of crazy long distance goals. sure, but I would almost say they should do something more low intense, like walking.
I had one client who was very into the Disney marathoning world, and she had never run a full marathon, and it was like one of her life goals to run that full marathon. Her and I got to know each other very well. She also had a goal of losing about 45, 50 pounds, and we kind of talked through it, and she's like, this is something I really want to accomplish. I was like, okay, we need to put the weight loss on hold then. Mm-hmm. So we need to focus on performance, getting you through this without getting injured, and after this 8 months, then we can start focusing on the weight loss. And so she did it. She accomplished her goal to run a full marathon. And then after that, we talked, and it's like, what's this look like from a longevity standpoint? And she's like, I don't really ever need to run more than a 5K again. And I'm like, yes, thank God. Awesome. You can still participate in all the Disney stuff. You can still go out there. You can get the medals. Great. You've done the marathon thing. Now we can focus on the weight loss. And that's what we did. And she was successful. And she... one of the biggest things she noticed was her appetite going down, and how easy it was to like stick to something now compared to trying to stick to something while also trying to train your body to run 26 miles.
It actually feels really good to have like a more normal appetite, because when you train like that, you have to eat like an athlete, and an athlete does not eat for weight loss. Something else that I think happens to people is they might be on social media and they follow runners or people who document their running journey or people who cross-train even. And these people will look really fit. Mm-hmm. And it's important to remember that those people are not in weight loss mode.
Exactly.
Right. Like once you get to perhaps whatever that weight loss or health marker looks like for you, then you can start tailoring your program for weight loss or weight loss maintenance.
That's a really good point, because people like Cam Hanes, they're not in weight loss. Like he's already there. He's already made it. All he's doing is like something that he loves to do.
Exactly.
And just maintaining it. And yeah, he's gonna look great doing it, but he's not trying to lose 20 pounds.
And he's cross-training. He's lifting
Sure.
weights. He's
Sure.
doing the bow and arrow situation. You've got to be strong, right? That's what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever tried to pull a bow?
Absolutely.
Can
Yeah,
you do
I'm
it?
from Martins Ferry, Ohio, and we've got bows and arrows.
I'm from Missouri, and I just stayed away from that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to do. It's
I like
not
tried
easy.
to pull one back one time, and my what's it called? What? Not your lat. What's the other rhomboid
whatever
muscle?
that is.
You know
but
when
I
you
know
do
what
a
you're
row?
talking about. Yeah.
Oh my God, that thing hurt just from one pull.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, they're strong, and so I don't know if I can beat this dead horse any longer.
Yeah, guys, if you have a goal to run distance, do a triathlon, do a marathon, we love it for you. That's a cool life goal to have. I did it myself. Was I in my best shape in terms of like aesthetically at the time? No. The only thing that happened was I got bigger legs. I couldn't get my jeans over my legs because my legs were bigger.
It's inconvenient.
Yeah, but I could run 26 miles. I'm glad I could check that off my life list, but if you have a goal for weight loss, it's going to be really hard for you to do both at the same time. So maybe you plan out the next year in the way that, okay, I'm going to focus on being an athlete and then I'll focus on losing weight. Or you focus on losing the weight first and then maybe maintaining it over the time of the marathon.
I think weight loss gets harder as you get older.
True.
So I would say if you had to pick one first, I would do weight loss, because if you're going to do weight loss, you're going to probably build a little muscle tissue in the process. That's typically the way we approach it. It's harder to lose weight, period, but especially as you get older. Then if you start running, once you hit that goal, you'll be at a lighter body weight, which can help protect your knees. It can help your endurance. It can help with all of the other factors that go into being a runner. Or you could be like me and just not care about running a marathon. I don't care.
After I was done with it, I looked around and I saw people were just like collapsed on the ground, and they had these, you know, the things you put in your windshield that keeps the sun from going in. They were like covering up with these things that go over your body. And I was looking around and like, why does anyone do this sport? That was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But at the same time, it was very like energizing.
Yeah.
I felt awesome and all of that. I'm like, okay, I get it. But I never needed to do it again after.
You know what makes
I was
me
done.
not want to do it?
What?
There's a lot of reasons. First of all, I don't like running.
Okay, well,
So
there's
there's that.
one.
But, people say like, oh, you need to challenge yourself. There's other ways I challenge myself.
Sure.
But the thing is, when I played sports in school, we'd have to run all the time. And I remember I played lacrosse. Well, by played, I mean like I sat on the bench.
Okay.
And we had to do a 5-mile run, which was like the longest run they made us do as a team. And it was after school. And I remember we were like 2, maybe 3 miles in, and I had to poop so bad. And I was like, what?
Trauma.
Like, I mean, I made it through, for anyone wondering, but I can't imagine that. And I know I've had the girl I write in my book, she experienced a lot of bowel issues. I mean, hers was a lot diet related.
Yeah.
But also, like, that's just not the situation I'm ever gonna. Why am I gonna pay money and get up at 5 a.m. to go somewhere where I might poop my pants? It's not for me.
Yeah.
At the gym, I can go home. Or somewhere private. So.
Well, I think a lot of people are surprised because they think that that's not just like, it's not just about us and like what we want to hear, but they think like from a health standpoint, like I'm in here to get healthy and here are some additional goals that I have. I want to run this 5K, I want to run this 10K, I want to run this marathon, thinking that that's going to go along with all these other goals that they have to lower their cholesterol or their triglycerides or lose 30 pounds or whatever it is. So it's surprising to then hear, hey, let's maybe not do that one and let's trade for something else. And so a really easy goal to like throw out there versus having a strength training goal of like, oh, I want to be able to like squat 10 times 110 pounds. Like that's not a normal goal to just come in here with. But like a goal like that is going to be much more beneficial for weight loss and for changing the shape of your body than running a marathon.
I couldn't agree more. So
Awesome.
That's our thoughts on that. Obviously, there are always going to be exceptions to the rule. You're going to know somebody who knows somebody who, and that's where like nutrition is very individualized. But you know, we've been doing this combined almost 20 years, right? I would say over 20 years.
I was a dietitian in 2009, so how many years that is.
Plus me, I've been doing it for almost 9 years. So combined, a lot of years. And I can't say that I have people uber successful. I've had so many, especially women over 25 who are into running and it just doesn't budge the way we want it to budge. But of course there are exceptions. If you're the exception to the rule, like let us know and tell us what you did, as it might be helpful, but it's never going to be our first line of defense.
Yeah, and let us know if you have any other questions about exercise and weight loss and how you could make that work for you.
All right, guys, you can find out more information on how to do that on our website, nutritionawareness.com. Everything that we talked about, the book, our website, all linked below, and we are all open to anything. So just if you got questions, we're here.
Bye. You know what's a lot less stressful? That.
I know.